Kadri, the founder and CEO of EdWatch. Hope you will get whatever objectives you're here for. That is giving you updates on the latest finance requirements based on the challenges that we face. So gone are the days when IFRS setting bodies or the accounting setting bodies, or we call IFAC, would wait for years to come up with new standards to address any world developments. Now, for a long time, or I would say for the past decade, you must have seen that with the changing economic, political, technological environment, IFAC has been coming up with latest developments, with latest standards, and not just coming up with the entire standards, they're also frequently updating, giving guidance to businesses on how to account for things. So why? Because the frequent rapid changes in the economic, technological, and climate change even are significantly affecting businesses. It is significantly affecting businesses in terms of how they had been operating previously, and now they need to change their ways of doing business. It is affecting financially all the businesses. So the businesses not only need to change their practices, they need to be more vigilant in recording and presenting information to their stakeholders. What are the stakeholders? The investors, the lenders, the creditors, and if speaking in broader terms, it could be their employees, their customers. Customers are also a major stakeholder, and the regulator. So this has been the scenario for the past few, I would say, couple of decades. Now, why we talk about IFRS updates or IFRS challenges, or even the bigger business challenges affecting businesses. So the perspective for finance professionals has now changed from pure auditing or pure accounting, debit credit recording, or pure presenting financial statements. It is more of a decision-making role. And as we see technology emerging over the past few years, what has been changing? Things have become easier for finance professionals, for accounting professionals, to do the traditional accounting that they were doing previously, to take the traditional business decisions that they were taking previously. But what has it come along with is the challenge of you to evolve and you to be able to bring in more contribution to the business, to look at it not from a finance perspective, but from a business perspective, right? Not a traditional accountant or finance professional who just thinks about the accounting, the recording, and the finance numbers. Now, the more and more emphasis is on a finance, or on the finance function of the company contributes towards the decisions, the major decisions, the major shift in the ways of doing business. And they have to evolve to be able to change themselves, or they have to evolve in accordance with the changes that the business is required to implement. Don't just change the business processes, change the entire way of doing business, which also includes your finance function. So having said that, I will just start sharing the presentation. So that we'll be in a better position to discuss what is in for today. Okay. All right. So IFRS in practice, what does it imply? How finance professionals need to change. This is what we're going to talk about. We're not going to delve into one particular standard. We have to come out of the shell of a finance professional, just looking into the recording and entry and calculation or calculations required under an IFRS, we have to think along the lines of what exactly is required of a business and why a particular disclosure or disclosure or presentation is required. How does any change impacts a business, and why are we required to comply with certain requirements as we are, and how we can make it better, how we can make our disclosures better, how we can make our practices better, how we can improve or change ourselves with the pace of the changing world, right? So just a little bit about myself. I'm Sana Khatri. I'm the founder and CEO of EdWatch. I have been before EdWatch, I was associated with the financial services industry. I've served financial services industry for quite a long time. Worked around all spheres of financial services, whether asset management, um, even brokerage, banking, and in particular digital banking. So that is where I realized personally while I was handling all the new projects, new products, especially the digital banking product, I realized that we as finance professionals are very much dependent on consultants. And, with the way the standards requirements are changing, the reporting requirements are changing, we are not able to transform ourselves. Why? Because we do not have the trainings available that could actually be able to help us learn what is required of us and be able to do it ourselves. So instead, the trainings that we get from big names, I wouldn't mention those, but instead of that, we were getting trainings from people, and those were mostly giving us an overall understanding, a surface level understanding, and just keeping us more reliant and dependent on the consultants who come and do the work for us. So instead of that, I felt that for organizations, for businesses' long-term survival, it is important that the capability is built within the organization. Yes, consultants' work will always be there. You will always be dependent on third parties for certain reasons, but you need to be able to change yourself with the changing world. And how I changed myself, while I was working for a project, especially the IFRS 9 project, I learned a lot of things like risk management. I learned Python because we weren't able to find a special system that could help us implement the IFRS 9 requirement, and we realized that we might need to develop our own, and for that purpose we might need to use a programming language, and Python was something that we will work. But that's an old story. Now, what is happening over the period? This is what I'm going to discuss. I have worked extensively on AI and digital transformation, and I have worked extensively on sustainability. Sustainability, particularly, we've been working within the EdWatch sphere, building capability, not just the general understanding, but hardcore knowledge of what is required. So that's just an introduction about myself. What are we going to do today? So today's agenda is basically to discuss why IFRS matters now. So IFRS is no more a particular accounting standards. Those of you who have are pure accountants must have seen that it has shifted from IAS to IFRS. How? It is not no more just accounting. It is financial reporting. And the core standards in practice, the certain standards like IFRS 9, IFRS 15, 17, and 16, these are ever evolving. Even when they came with a bang, in the sense that companies were required to make a lot of changes. There was a lot of confusion. It took some time. In a major part of the world, it was a huge impact. Not just in terms of how the numbers are changed, particularly in terms of how the practices are changed of recording, recording certain numbers and presenting. in the reports, in the financial statements. And a major impact is the AI implication. Now, many accountants and finance professionals that I meet with are very, you can say, interested in knowing how is AI important, how is it changing our world, but they are very much scared of using AI. And one reason could be, not so much reliance from the management, not so much reliance from the professionals, and so much noise around AI, and it might not be ready for us. So I'll discuss a little bit about that, and we will also discuss sustainability reporting. This is a major shift for businesses around the world, in South Asia, in especially in the Middle East also. What needs to be done, how AI can be used, and building finance capability. Right? Let's talk about why IFRS matters now. IFRS matters. IFRS has been, as I said, evolving itself from the time IFRS 15 came in, IFRS 16 came in, IFRS 9 came in. We know that these standards were very much thought out. There was a lot of work, discussion around the industries and among the experts, and they addressed the existing or the prevalent business issues or problems that the accountants were witnessing. And even if this was not this was not there to address a problem, it was there to address the economic situation, the business perspective of the financial numbers, right? Why I say this, IFRS 9 was there, it came in to address the credit risk, credit risk reporting. And credit risk from 2008, we realized that it is not a simple calculation. You cannot just give authority to the companies to just come up with numbers, their own calculations, and give them, you can say, leverage to come up with their own calculations and do it as they want. You have to actually have a standard methodology, at least. Of course, you cannot just dictate companies to calculate it yourself, how to do it, how to calculate it, but you have to actually give them a standard, a methodology, best practices on how they can do it, and be consistent for each industry. So that's how IFRS has been impacting us. IFRSs are also updated, or I would say there is lots and lots of guidance available on the ISSB podcast, on the ISSB's own IFRS own website. I would suggest all the finance professionals to get registered on the IFRS website. It's free. You can sign up. You will have access to all their standards. You will have access to all their documentations, which includes guidance, their case studies, and you will have access to the SASB standards. You will have access to IFRS standards as well. So and you will be able to know what immediate changes are made. So you need to keep yourself updated. As a finance professional, you just don't need to rely on your auditor, external auditor, to come up and tell you this is, or regulator to come up and tell you this is applicable now. You need to be updated. The second thing is technology is reshaping world. So when I say technology is reshaping world, I am referring to immediately updated situation, which includes AI, convergence of AI in businesses. So in AI is again, there is a lot of confusion or misunderstanding around it. When I talk to finance professionals, they most of them, as I said, are scared. They do not have that much of an information how they can use it. Some of them are using it pretty much to an extent where they are 100%. I wouldn't say 100%. More reliant on how much they should be. But the major problem that I see, and when I talk about our products, our technology driven products to the businesses, they refer to the latest scandals of some firms coming up with AI generated reports. So the problem is not with the AI there. The problem is lack of accountability, lack of supervision, and they use AI without customizing it according to their needs. So these are the 2 to 3 things that are important for all businesses as well as finance professionals. So I have done trainings on prompt engineering where I train people on using different AI tools, or as we say them, LLMs, to their need. You cannot 100% rely on one tool for each and every requirement at the moment. And what you need to do is you need to train. The best thing about AI tools is that the more information you provide them with, the more they learn about yourself. Now, here comes another point is businesses are also reluctant to allow their finance teams to use AI because they are afraid of the fact that it might not be secured, right? Security is a concern. It will always, for a certain period of time, it will be a concern. Yes, LLMs use your data to train themselves, but you need to make sure that you are using the right technology that trains your particular agent, but doesn't throw your information outside your environment, right? So that is something that I can mention at the moment, and you can, maybe discuss within your team, discuss with your technology partners, or on how they can help you with that. So having said that, yes, you can see that there are major companies who are embedding technology, embedding AI in their processes. You talk about PwC, you talk about KPMG, who have recently signed contracts with Claude. They're using it. If they're using it, that means there is a lot that can be done about technology. So when we use it, we make sure that whatever information we are providing, whatever information, customer information we are using, it stays within our environment. It doesn't go out. And customization, again, it's an important part. One fit solution for all is not the same decision. You have to actually customize every a tool that you are using according to your requirement. So whatever your requirement, you have to customize it. For finance professionals, you need to adopt AI and sort of whatever technology is there for you immediately. Whether you are a CFO, whether you are a finance director, or you are an intern in finance, it matters for all. Because going forward, as we can see that many jobs are being taken over by AI, in the technology sphere, it will be taken over. Jobs of finance professionals will also be taken over. So you need to be a pro technology person. You don't just leave technology to the IT department. You need to understand it. The third thing is sustainability. The sustainability is now financial. As I was giving a training just yesterday on climate scenario analysis, and I always say that you have to convert everything. What IFRS is doing is converting everything to the financial numbers. It was so good a CSR activity, so long there was no business impact, there were no financial impacts on businesses. Now that the businesses are suffering because of the climate change and frequent physical damages to their property, and then there are transition risks coming in, the businesses need to take account of that. So stability. So important thing is that you need to train yourself in what the latest requirements of sustainability are. Don't leave your sustainability financial reporting to a consultant or a third party. That could be your sustainability function, head of sustainability or team sustainability team that you might have a different function for in your organization. So these are the 3 important things that I wanted to discuss on IFRS. And the core standards, yes, we have IFRS 9. This is where we can use AI. I will be discussing in detail. IFRS 15, IFRS 16, IFRS 17. These are the, first-hand best examples of, ever changing, ever evolving challenges, not stopping anywhere. Now we have IFRS S1 and S2 here as well, though we have certain exemptions. Phase-wise implementation for a few things, which is good, but you need to take control now. Even if it is not mandated in your region, you need to be there. Just don't just leave everything to your finance, to your consultant or your sustainability team. Now, this is my favorite topic, AI in financial reporting. I've already said a lot about it. So how does AI in financial reporting help? In addition to what we've previously been doing is giving information to AI and then it generates a report, maybe some numbers, some calculations for us. So when I say use AI and customize it or create your own agents, is you don't just randomly give information to AI, randomly use this for your purpose. What you need to do is you need to have a customized tool, right? That's a one-time effort for businesses. You can even create agents in the applications that are available online, or you can maybe have a sophisticated tool within your organization, or maybe you have an ERP already where your organization, your business, you can talk to your management and ask them to implement certain AI, capabilities that can help you do your work. And some of the ERPs are already coming up with this integration of AI. So how AI helps you? AI helps you with data aggregation. It helps you with data reconciliation. It helps you with data verification. It can, look up the trends and come up and say, okay, this number doesn't look right, right? So it can do a lot of analytics for you already. What it can do is that it can also help you support in estimation. It can help you, drafting your disclosures. It can help review your information as well, and it can help you in controlling and monitoring the numbers. So these are the four major areas where AI can help you with. What we have been doing, the tools that we have created, especially around the sustainability. We are building it around verification, data aggregation, trend analysis, estimation support, helping with the disclosures, helping with the reports, helping, reviewing the previous trajectory and coming up with a roadmap for the next 5 or 10 years that the company can. That's not just limited to the finance teams, but also for the business in general, for the top management, for the mid-level management. That can be used by lower level of management as well. So that's how you can use it. There are various tools that are available online. You can build your own with the AI agents. You can build your own, and I think that basic. You don't need to have a sophisticated tool of yours, but you can build. You should be able to use basic tools and generate a basic AI agent for yourself. Now, the governance question behind, I think I've already discussed this thing. Using AI doesn't change what IFRS requires. It changes how you evidence it. So we have already discussed the fact that there could be problems initially in businesses accepting the AI as a major contributor to business in terms of evaluating it, reporting, monitoring, establishing the control. But once that is sorted out, and it'll take some time, but it has to be, the effort has to start from now on. So how it can also help you with the governance part. It can help you with reviewing your information, reviewing your reports, reviewing your presentations, reviewing your processes and comparing it against the regulatory requirement, coming up with a gap assessment, helping you with the information that is auditable, in fact, making you bankable over time. So that's actually not limited to data management or data verification or data monitoring. It helps on a governance level as well. So as I said, that the objective should be to come up with an information that is used throughout the organization across all the hierarchies, right? Instead of just focusing on the finance function, right? And that's how finance becomes business partner. AI in action. AI is also very much helpful in developing in credit loss assessment expected credit loss calculation under IFRS 9. How it can help develop models around IFRS 9 LCD and LGD and PD. So what you actually need is you need for a finance professional, you might not need to understand the integrities of codings and a back end of how AI is working. You should have basic understanding of how AI is generating a certain number for you, right? So it can actually give you granularity and refines your data. It can calculate your data. It can help you review the trends. Why I say AI is important for credit loss, expected credit loss, ECL, is because it helps you in the forward-looking approach, right? With the previous data, you can calculate the numbers, but you cannot predict the future. With various tools in the market that can help you predict future circumstances, you can link it with your business portfolio, the portfolio that is subject to ECL, and can evaluate whether it goes well with your expectations or your assumptions. So that's one aspect, because of the forward-looking approach. Now that IFRS is changing from what happened previously to a forward-looking approach, you need to AI can be a very good factor, very important or critical factor in helping businesses drive numbers that are forward-looking. So sustainability reporting enters the mainstream. Now I talk to people, they're very much concerned about S1, S2, and in certain regions, the force with which it is coming, the pressures that they have from the regulators to just simply report even when they are not ready or they do not even understand what it exactly means or actually entails. They are shifting to the consultants, dependent on consultants, which is okay to go with for temporary. For a temporary switch, it would be the best option for them at the moment. But for long term, you cannot just rely on consultants, because it's a huge cost or it's a huge investment. Again, you need to build capability within your organizations. You need to develop systems or get those systems that enable your teams to do it themselves rather than going to the consultant every time, because you might have a one sophisticated model at one point, but going forward, you might need to review it. You might need to change the drivers, the variables, etc. You need to know how it works. So a sophisticated system, especially AI-driven system, would help. And it would also, because we talk about sustainability, the climate risks that we are considering for business are the risks on the forward-looking approach. What would happen in the future? What would happen in the next 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, right? The time horizon that we discussed. So for that purpose, you need to have a technology, AI-driven technology in hand that could help you develop models based on the future expected outcomes, future expectation of the climate change. All right. So AI as an enabler of reporting, I think I've already discussed that. Scope 3 emissions estimation, AI can help you with that. You need to have an exact data, but actual data when you start your numbers off. But for verification of whether the numbers are correct or not, you might need AI to evaluate your trends. Then evidence aggregation, assurance readiness, scenario modeling. Scenario modeling is the most important part because scenario analysis, modeling or scenario analysis is the stress testing of your business model that requires forward-looking approach, and AI is what can help you with this. Okay. So what should be a practical roadmap for finance team? What finance team should need to learn from now on, or should employ within their processes, is that they need to start using technology. They need to start assessing what is the IFRS implications, how technology can help them with, especially with the SASB or ISSB standards. They need to understand how they can govern the AI in their organizations, how AI can help govern, how AI can help with the governance in their organizations. They need to build capabilities, right? So assessment first, governance of AI first, and then building capability, which is I think an immediate requirement. It comes along with the first two steps, and then you can pilot and scale. You can run a parallel system with the previous one and what you have been doing previously, and using AI as your enabler, and then you can embed and report your system. So you need not to immediately buy a new system or create a new system and implement it. You can use it and run it in parallel with your existing systems or processes. That is how businesses do with the ERPs as well. And then you can, once you have the confidence over the system, you can embed and report and use it without a second option. Okay, so this is what was from my side. I always, when I talk to any professional, not just finance, because I talk to finance as well as sustainability professionals a lot, I ask them to adapt now or disrupt now. Otherwise, you will become obsolete. So this is the message of our today's discussion. I've shared a few areas where you can implement, where you need to build your capability, as well as you can implement technology, and you can bring in changes in the way that you work. There are certain programs that I do on IFRS. Some of my programs I've launched on even Udemy. But there are specific programs that I do with EdWatch. We have IFRS Champions program. It's a CPD accredited program that runs for 3 months. It's a self-paced with virtual classes where I can answer your questions. A very comprehensive course. People call it Diploma in IFRS, but it's just a revision of what you know. And it also, if you might have some misunderstandings or incorrect knowledge about certain calculations, you can go to it and review it, and you will have a CPD accredited certification. Then there is a very important training that I recently finished, in-person program on climate scenario analysis under IFRS S2. This is a very critical area, and businesses, I've seen, despite the fact that we did not market it a lot, we got a very good response, very overwhelming response from the businesses, because I realized that the businesses needed, this is the need of the time. The third training that I have been doing recently, I mean, there are many trainings that I do on IFRS and sustainability related to finance, but there are latest standards like IFRS 18, updates in IFRS 15.9, and certain other updates I will be delivering this particular program on, so that you can take part in if you would like to participate in. So if you have any questions, you can, I think I can take those questions now. Thank you very much for your time.